All right, we're going to resume. Can I get a motion to seal the minutes of the executive session?
So moved.
Get a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
I oppose. Andrea Long.
Motion carries.
Do we need to exit or
Yep. Can I get a motion to exit the executive session?
motion to exit the executive session as per RIGL
4246.
4044 dash 5 or 4?
4. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. There is no report of any votes taken during the executive session. As stated in the agenda, it was to discuss the collective bargaining as well as the personal investigation on Chris Haskins. Next on the agenda is a statement from the RIFT union. Griffin?
So we're not the RIFT union, we're the Paul Cuffee Collaborative? I had asked that to be corrected.
And let me be clear that what you have registered with the National Labor Relations Board is the RAFT. So if you want to fix that, please fix it with the National.
I'm just trying to bring some clarity.
Thank you. We just have to go by how you registered, that's why.
Okay.
You can put it in parentheses, you just have to call it out, just as a reminder next time.
Sure, you can do that, please. Thanks. So having only been given 5 minutes, let me jump right into the idea that I'm here to publicly thank the Providence City Council, especially in their show of support of the Paul Cuffee Collaborative, and to also thank the Councilor Roas, who showed up here, and I would like to invite him up, and if they could please share their support for our union, I would greatly appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It's unfortunate you have to lower that for me. Good evening, board. Thank you for having me, for inviting me. My name is Justin Royes. I serve as the Providence City Councilor representing Providence's 4th Ward. Tonight I'm not here just as a elected official. I'm here as a licensed therapist and as a full-time school social worker and someone who has spent every day walking alongside students, families, and educators. I come to this moment with a deep love for our schools and a deep respect for the people who make them work. Not just in theory, but in the mess and in the beauty of real life. I wanted to be clear with you all tonight. In all of my roles that bring me here, as an elected official, licensed therapist, and school social worker, I'm not here to tell you what to do. Only you can make that decision. I'm not here to shame or preach. I'm here to say proudly, on behalf of the city of Providence, that in this city, workers have the right to organize. In this city, we stand with educators who want fair wages and conditions, not only for themselves, but so that they can, with confidence and dignity, carry out the noble and often thankless task of preparing our next generation to thrive and to lead. That's why last month, the Providence City Council unanimously passed a resolution in support of the unionization efforts here at Paul Cuffee School. It's not lost on me, and I hope it's not lost on us, that this school bears the name of a man who centuries ago believed deeply in the power of education, dignity, and economic self-determination. Paul Cuffee was not just a ship captain and merchant. He was a visionary who saw education as liberation and who knew that justice was never granted, but something organized for. To invoke his name while denying the right of workers to organize would be to hollow out his legacy. And all of us today, myself, teachers, staff, board members, will one day hand over the keys to the students today who walk these halls. Our schools, every last one of them, our RA succession plan. Our students are our plan A. There's no plan B. Their future rests not just in lesson plans or test scores, but the strength, support, and respect we offer to educators who show up for them every single day. I implore you to listen to your staff, work with them, find a path that honors the mission of this school and the name it carries. On behalf of my colleagues, all of my colleagues, which is not something I can always say, I'm here to reaffirm that the Providence City Council stands with educators and with workers across the city, seeking to collectively bargain and to advocate for better conditions, better resources, and greater respect. So please accept this resolution with our deepest respect that we brought tonight, and thank you for having me today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's an amazing feeling to have that level of support from the Providence City Council. And as I look in this direction, I see less support and I feel less support. This is a board, a community that serves us together. And we are finding more support outside of these walls than inside. And I hope that that's something we can work on and find ways, find pathways to get solutions to get us a fair contract now. Thank you.
Good evening, all. I appreciate the chance to speak to all of you tonight. During our negotiation session on April 15th, Mr. Briggs made a few comments that really affected me. One comment was, quote, "We all choose our professions." He later made another comment that seemed to insinuate that while we were volunteering our time to come to negotiation sessions, we were doing this by choice. These comments struck me for many different reasons. First, yes, I did choose education as my profession. Let me be clear. I did not become a teacher because I just, quote, loved working with kids. I did not become a teacher because I was called to the profession or because I get summers off. I became a teacher because there are great inequities in our country. I've always felt and still feel that giving all children what they need to attain a high-quality education is the most impactful way to create a more equitable future. However, I did not choose to feel silenced. I did not choose to feel disrespected. I did not choose to fail to give our students what they need and are entitled to be the most successful they can be. These things just happened. They are the current realities of Paul Cuffee School. They are the reasons that have brought us to unionize. They are the reasons that we volunteer hours upon hours of our time to negotiate our first contract. So I ask all of you, does any of this seem like a choice for Paul Cuffee faculty and staff? Additionally, Mr. Briggs' comment struck me for another reason. Our negotiation sessions have become us versus them, management versus teachers. They are tense at their best moments and extremely adversarial and hostile at their worst. The sad part is that it never had to be this way. Our vision is to create a community where we all collaborate with one another. Our vision is to create a school where we all work together as one team united by a common goal. Our name captures this sentiment. We are the Paul Cuffee Collaborative. I hope one day soon we can move forward together for a better future for our students. The last thing I wanted to speak on is what I want for Paul Cuffee's future and why this vision is so important to me on a very personal level. Many of you know that I'm the mother of two beautiful, smart, empathetic boys. What some of you may not know is that both my boys have special needs. My 5-year-old was diagnosed with autism last year, and my 3-year-old has albinism. Albinism is a condition that results in many things, one of them being visual impairments. So going to IEP meetings has become a very familiar practice in my work life and my home life. What has also become familiar is sobbing after my own children's IEP meetings out of frustration, anger, and outrage. Not because my own children aren't getting what they need. It's because they get everything they need without me needing to advocate or fight for a single service or support. The difference in resources available at Paul Cuffee School versus my own children's school is entirely unjust. Now, I know, I don't live in Providence, I don't even live in Rhode Island. However, it shouldn't matter where I live. My own children are no more deserving of more resources than my students, our students. None of us should be content with different schools having different amounts of resources. None of us should accept this as a fact of life. We should be doing everything in our power to fight this inequity. We should be using our collective strengths to advocate to change the status quo. So my message to all of our board members here today is this. Yes, I proudly chose education as my career, just as you all chose to become board members at this school. I will continue to choose this career at this school so long as it becomes a place where teachers are heard and respected, and where students receive the support they need to be as successful as they can be. I hope all of you choose to work with us and choose to support student success for a better Paul Cuffee today, tomorrow, and into the future. Fair contract for Cuffee.
Thank you, Andrea. I echo everything she said, especially about the negotiation meetings being so tense and the amount of time that we spend at odds with each other. I ask us to move forward in negotiations in a more collaborative tone. Fair contract now.
I have experience working with a board that is either disengaged or disinterested, and I remain disheartened. We deserve better, our community deserves better, and you can do better. We need a fair contract now.
I am here because I support having a fair contract for teachers and so that all of the students get what they need. I would also ask that the board makes public comment a regular part of meetings that don't have to go on the agenda. I think that will open the doors for collaboration and just us all working together. So please consider adding the public comment to a regular meeting where we don't have to get on the agenda for the public to share their thoughts, like most open meetings have in Rhode Island and across the country, if I'm not mistaken.
Our staff and our students just deserve so much better. So a fair contract doesn't just support us, it supports our kids who deserve everything and anything that they need.
My hope and my wish is that as negotiations move forward, they will, just to echo what another speaker said, become more collaborative. The things that are being asked for and proposed in this contract are not anything that is immensely radical or hasn't been pulled from any contracts that don't already exist. And something that I'm thinking about is that the teachers at this school have done a really good job of trying to work with the negotiation team in good faith, and I would like for management to do the same.
I will keep showing up and I will keep being positive, but it's really difficult when we're faced time and time again with we respectfully reject proposals that the collaborative has put forward. So fair contract now.
I just wanted to make a brief comment about the financial cost to the school of unnecessarily drawn out contract negotiations. Every contract meeting represents thousands of dollars in lawyers' fees to the school. And in a year in which we all came in being told that the budget for our school is pretty dire and we all need to tighten our belts, I would think it would be in administration's interest to say, the union is here, whether we like it or not, we need to move these contract negotiations along because this is just costing us too much money in lawyers' fees every time these unproductive meetings happen. Fair contract now.
Okay, thank you very much. Next on the agenda is the resolution from and to the Providence City Council regarding the collective bargaining process. I want to turn to my right to our lawyer, John, if you want to speak to that.
Sure. Very briefly, ladies and gentlemen, the Providence City Council sent a resolution. It was discussed earlier during the union's presentation. I will be happy to read it to everyone so that everyone is aware of it. It's a resolution of the City Council effective March 30th, 2025, whereas the right to organize enables employees to collectively advocate for their interests, fostering fairness, amplifying their voice in decision-making, and enhancing collaboration with administration. And whereas this is especially important for educators whose advocacy for fair wages, benefits, and working conditions ensures that they are supported and motivated to provide high-quality teaching. And whereas in efforts to create a more inclusive and supportive school environment, educators at Paul Cuffee Upper School voted to unionize with the Rhode Island Federation of Teachers and Health Professionals in October of 2024. And whereas after the successful unionization of the upper school in December 2024, the educators of the Paul Cuffee Lower School followed suit, voting to unionize with RIF-THP as well. And whereas the Providence City Council supports good faith negotiations between educators and school administration, recognizing these unions as a tool to advocate for the needs of both students and teachers. Now therefore be it resolved that the Providence City Council is in support of the educators and the Paul Cuffee upper and lower schools in their unionization efforts and commitment to strengthening and improving the school environments, and be it further resolved that this resolution be transmitted to the administration of the Paul Cuffee upper and lower schools. This resolution was transmitted from the Providence City Council to the board. The board has a copy of it. I have drafted for the board, and I've got, it looks like it's 4 pages, but it's actually 2 copies stapled together. A resolution from the board, a draft of a resolution from the board to the Providence City Council. And I think it's great that we have a member of the Providence City Council who can bring this back to the Providence City Council. And a lot of it actually sounds very similar. We heard about collaboration, and this is a wonderful opportunity for collaboration. Whereas in October of 2024, educators at Paul Cuffee Upper School voted to unionize with the Rhode Island Federation of Teachers and Health Professionals, RIF-THP. And whereas in December of 2024, the educators of the Paul Cuffee Lower School voted to unionize with the RIF-THP. Whereas the Paul Cuffee Board of Trustees and the Providence City Council support good faith negotiations between educators and school administrators. And whereas the Providence City Council is resolved to pledge their support of the educators in the Paul Cuffee upper and lower schools in their unionization efforts and commitment to strengthening and improving the school environment. And whereas the Paul Cuffee upper and lower school unions have sought a 19% pay raise. Whereas to fully fund that pay raise, the Providence City Council would need to make a special appropriations of $1,786,106 for the 2025-2026 fiscal year, $1,937,716 for the 2026-2027 fiscal year, and $2,122,020 for the 2027-2028 school year to cover salary increases and supplemental appropriations in an amount of at least $2,122,020 for each and every school year thereafter. Whereas the Paul Cuffee upper and lower school unions have sought additional salary increases to bring teaching partners to a 10-step salary scale at a cost of approximately $50,000 per year.
A living wage. There's a lot of free stuff you can do, John.
Whereas
there's a lot of free things you can do.
Order, please.
Whereas the Paul Cuffee upper and lower school unions have sought that the Paul Cuffee School hire 3 building substitutes per school and an additional school psychologist at a cost of approximately $500,000 per year, whereas the Paul Cuffee upper and lower schools have sought caseload maximums for specialists at a cost to be determined, whereas the Paul Cuffee upper and lower school unions have sought that the health insurance copay for their members be capped at 5% of each member's salary at a cost to be determined. Now, therefore be it resolved that the Paul Cuffee School Board of Trustees requests that the Providence City Council immediately approve special supplemental appropriations of $1,786,106 for the 2025-2026 fiscal year, $1,937,716 for the 2026-2027 fiscal year, and $2,122,020 for the 2027-2028 school year to cover salary increases and supplemental appropriations in the amount of $2,122,020 for each and every school year, plus an annual appropriation of $50,000 per year to bring teaching partners to a 10-step salary scale, plus an annual appropriation of $500,000 to hire 3 building substitutes per school and an additional school psychologist for each and every school year, plus sufficient funds to adjust the caseloads for specialists, plus sufficient funds to cap health insurance copays at 5% of each member's salary. Be it further resolved that the head of school shall cause to be delivered forthwith to the Providence City Council and each of its members a copy of this resolution.
So we get a motion to approve the resolution to the Providence City Council regarding the collective bargaining process.
So moved.
Can I get a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yeah.
Who's opposed?
I'm sorry, I'm looking for board members.
Board
Carrie
members only, please.
Caparco opposes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, John. Next on the agenda is the approval of the March 20th, 2025.
It's just one part of the proposal. It's
Right.
one part. There's lots of other things in the contract that we're not addressing.
Order, order, please. Order, please. If it's going to continue to have outbursts, we will end the meeting.
I'd like to
Which I do not want to do.
request to be recognized officially, if that's okay.
Recognized?
Thank you. My name is Eric Fulford. I've been teaching here for over 8 years now at the upper school. I love my job. I love the community. I love what I do. And I just wanted to add some context for what was just said. We were talking about negotiation in good faith. And the framing of this negotiation from that resolution feels like the exact opposite to me. We are not demanding a salary bump as our only recourse in this negotiation. It's one of the things we're throwing out there as a recognition of the value of the work that we do. We fully appreciate that negotiations are back and forth, and many of the things we care most deeply about have no dollar value at all. And yet, at every negotiation meeting, so far, many of the proposals, even the ones that cost $0, are met with, we respectfully reject, with no reason given. So, if you don't have the money, or if Providence cannot provide the money for us immediately, which is reasonable, then what can you work with us on? That's all we want. We want to work together.
Okay, can I get an approval of the March 20th, 25th, 2025 minutes?
There
Need a
are.
motion? Motion to accept the approval of the March 20, 2025 minutes?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
There are corrections. I wasn't sure when I can say those. After
the
you.
second.
to talk
After the
about
second,
them?
you would say.
Okay,
Yep.
right now. Okay.
I'm sorry, who provided the second?
No one has yet.
Okay. I thought I-
Right, for this.
So in the minutes, and
The middle school faculty trustee, Ms. Renee Reese, is also the middle school reading specialist. I thought she should be acknowledged for that. And the upper school 10th grade students attended a performance.
What page are you on, Carrie?
Page 2 for the 10th grade, attending Romeo and Juliet, not the 12th grade. And page 1 at the bottom for Renee.
There's also a sentence here at the end that says that there was,
What page?
it's page 2, one of the last sentences. It says she noted that reading week has been scheduled and invited board members to attend. Ms. Krug organized the reading week that happened, I believe, was it the week before the March, week or two before the March board meeting. She invited folks at the February meeting, and not a board member showed up to read to a child. So the reading week had already happened at this point.
Is this a correction or is this? Are you just
A
making a statement?
clarification. I don't know if, I guess I'm wondering if what was said, because reading week, it said had been scheduled and invited board members to attend. I don't believe Ms. Batista would have said that because that had already happened. She might have noted that it had already happened.
I'm happy to either remove it or make the correction as you wish, but I just need the board to let me know which your preference is.
We can modify it and say that that it had occurred.
Okay.
So I'll ask for a new motion to accept the minutes with the changes as noted. Can I get a motion?
Sure, I'll motion with the corrections.
Okay, can I get a second? Is that Brian? Brian seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Finance Committee, Blabach.
Yes, not much new. We're hoping to finish the year with a little positive, where it looks like we're on track and our bank will be happy with us. So we need, based on our bonds, we need to have $50,000-$60,000 in the black and not be negative otherwise. That's our covenants for the bonds. And basically our main issue is what we, our revenue goes up slower than our other expenses. And we're hoping to get, everybody's working on the budget, so we're hoping at the next finance committee we can approve, we can recommend to the board to approve the budget. And revenue seems to be increased by how much? Do you think?
For next year?
For next year.
For fiscal 26, it'll be flat.
It'll be flat. So it looks flat, and obviously we get the steps that go up, and one of our major expenses is the health insurance. So we'll be reporting back next time. Any other questions?
Any other comments? Any questions? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Chris, head of school update, please.
Thank you. As of today, we have had 138 days of school, and we are now 78% into the school year. Our average daily attendance remains at 94% across the schools. As in March, 94% at the lower school, 94% at the middle school, and 93% at the upper school. Our percentage of students who are chronically absent is holding at the same percentage levels. We are 17% chronically absent, all school, 21% at the lower school, 17% at the middle school, and 18% at the upper school. Our actual enrollment is currently 376 students at the lower school, 197 students at the middle school, and 255 students at the upper school. Our average daily membership is 819 students. A reminder to the board that the ethics disclosure filing is due tomorrow for all trustees. We have received positive news about our submission for the literacy grant coach, which would, if approved, provide 4 years of a literacy coach for grades K to 5, including a new K-2 assessment and a partnership with an educator preparation program. It took about 30 hours of work to prepare the grant, so I wanted to thank those who worked on that grant, especially Becky Kustan. We expect RIDE to make an announcement early May about our status with that approval. I'm pleased to announce that we have received a grant through Learning Ally, which is a web-based application providing fiction and nonfiction audiobooks to students with reading challenges. It's a $5,000 grant for their services and professional development. The Rhode Island Department of Education has awarded Paul Cuffee School a $10,000 grant to help fund social-emotional learning, which we'll use to fund a therapy dog for visits to the lower, middle, and upper schools, a new health curriculum in grades K-8 titled HealthMate, substance use prevention training for middle and high school staff through Stanford University, and the MindWise Signs of Suicide Awareness training for middle school students that was required by the Bruno Flats Act, and the Second Step Social Competency curriculum for the middle school. This grant came as a result of a meeting of the Health and Wellness Committee, of which a RIDE representative attended, so I want to thank the members of the Health and Wellness Committee and Becky for applying for that grant. We applied today for the RIDE World Language Proficiency Grant, which will fund the class of 2028 to take the AAPPL, which is the Assessment of Performance Towards Proficiency in Languages, World Language Proficiency Exams. This will give students high school course credit, satisfy the world language requirement for those who pass, and will support our goal of increasing the students who attain the state seal of biliteracy. I am pleased to inform you of some new hires or current staff being selected for new positions. Ms. Lily Longverlat, formerly the assistant to the principal at the lower school, has been selected to serve as the admissions and family engagement coordinator. Ms. Prisciliana Ramirez, formerly the assistant to the principal at the middle school, has been selected to serve as the assistant to the principal at the lower school. And David Allenbach has been selected for the position of middle school special education teacher. David comes to us from the Warwick School Department, where he served as a co-director of special services. And so I'll ask our building principals to provide some brief updates from their school buildings.
I can go first. We're doing our best to wrap up the school year. Unfortunately, right now there is a significant amount of testing probably happening across all 3 buildings, but at the high school we're kind of whammied with PSAT and SAT, which happened the week before break, and Mr. Jeff Rakowskis, our academic dean, completed all of our makeups, I believe, on Wednesday. We have next generation science assessment testing happening at the upper school for 11th graders next week, Monday and Tuesday. And then AP tests start the first full week of May, and we're administering, we have 7 AP classes. We're administering 6 AP assessments. R2D does not have an assessment, they have a portfolio. So a lot in those regards. I think teachers are really trying hard to close out this school year strong. This is the time of year when the weather gets a little nicer, that kids want to be outside, they get a little bit more rambunctious. But I think our staff are doing a really good job of trying to keep everybody as calm and productive as possible in the final months of school. And personally, we'll be going out on leave in the next couple of weeks, and I've received a lot of support from colleagues in terms of getting as much done as possible and stepping up to support when needed. And I'll pass it on.
Last question. College admissions. Any good news, or maybe they've heard already where they're?
Yep, so students know already. Next week, Friday, we have our decision day. So students will be announcing to the school community at the end of the school day what their post-secondary plans are.
I can go next. So similar to Vivi, we're still in the Rhode Island State Assessment process. So a couple weeks from now, we have Math RICAS. We just finished ELA. Then we have NGSA, that's also known as Science RICAS. But I guess a couple of joyful things. Just community meeting. We had a wonderful one yesterday where it just reminded us of the power of community. And at this point, like, advisories are really strong, and they've really built a strong bond. You can see it in in the different like performances and presentations. And then I've been in classes a lot, just looking at instruction, trying to finish mid-year evaluations, and just really impressed. Not to put you on the spot, Katie, I saw you there, but I was just in Katie's class today, and the students, the way they're discussing and supporting each other with their essays, helping each other learn how to better annotate, and read, like, and Ms. Wilson not having to really redirect them to really focus and be on task in terms of the discussion was super impressive. So it's great that at the end of the year, even though there's a lot going on, you also start to see like the fruit of the teachers' like really hard work the entire year. So it's really joyful to see that.
Can I add one thing? Anita, do you want to, when Ms. Summers was sharing about community meeting, it made me think about your presentation yesterday. Do you want to recap what you presented to the school, or do you want me to do it?
Sure. I did a presentation about safe space, about sexual, being an advocate for preventing sexual violence, sexual assault, and basically we're talking about Denim Day, April 30th, and on what Denim Day is and how we can support on Denim Day. And I also talked about opportunity where you can go to New York for 4 days and learn how to be a peer educator and get a certificate so that you can go on to teach other kids.
What is Denim Day? Next one second. What is that?
Denim Day is basically a woman got raped in Italy, and the judge was like, because her jeans were too tight and she must have been able to take it off, and that shows consent. And basically people came in support to her and wore denim to show support to her, and how clothes doesn't equal consent.
Thank you for sharing that.
Sorry to put you on the spot. All right, so all things lower school update. First of all, I wanted to publicly apologize because I know I had to excuse myself, and so I'm dealing with a personal thing, so I would never want to miss anything that teachers are sharing or that the group is sharing, because I realize that how empowering and how important it is to hear your voices. So if I had to excuse myself, I want you to know the why. And so for lower school updates, it is definitely RICAS season. We have completed the English language arts section of the assessment, and I'm also proud to announce that we have completed all of the ELA section, including all those students that had to do makeup sessions. I do have to say that like the momentum and energy around like doing your best on the test was really felt throughout the school. And if you know anything about my singing skills, they're non-existent. But I'm willing to put it all on the line in order to really build that sense of like encouragement. And then we had our teachers from all the different grade levels join as cheerleaders in every single one of the classrooms to like really remind the students that this is a moment where like we even use the lyrics of like Eminem, like you only get one chance, one opportunity to seize the moment. Will you capture it or let it slip? And everybody's like in that space, like clapping, even though we know like it's a high stakes test. Like we want to build the energy and momentum. And I think all of the teachers, including from grades K to grade 5, what was really cool to see is a united front of everybody seeing that like even though it's grades 3 through 5 that are being tested, we all have a stake. It's what kids learn in K and what kids learn in 1 and what kids learn in 2 that all have an impact. So we all have this united sentiment that like RICAS prep needs to happen from the beginning of the school year. So I feel that that momentum was really heartfelt, particularly this school year. And then we're going to be moving into like math RICAS in preparation. And what was really cool is like being able to like meet with teachers early on and seeing like what are the areas they need help in. And then pretty soon you've been invited to come to the Paul Cuffee play. And students have been practicing their hearts out. But then in addition, we added a new spin where students are reading a text that was all about the life of Paul Cuffee that was found in one of the 4th grade classrooms as a hidden artifact that we've never done before. So a shout out to Mr. Burnham for finding that book, because then the kids did a close reading about the life of Paul Cuffee, and then had to do writing every single week using the strategy of restating the question, answering the question, citing evidence, explaining, and summarizing, a skill set that was also taught throughout the school. And then they're going to be going to the Whaling Museum tomorrow So we're really excited about that. I could attest to the feeling, and everybody nod your head if it is true, spring is definitely in the air. And so resetting expectations. So as soon as we came back from the April break, it's like we treated it like it was like the first day of school again. What is it like to walk in the hallways? A reminder. What is it like to be in the lunchroom and in the recess yard? Because it's the idea that you assume nothing and teach everything. And although we might feel like a broken record, we're not giving up on the fact that like we're going to set high expectations all the way to the end of the school year. And then we're also going to be doing the science version of the RICAS. 2 is right around the corner. And all things like thinking about how you want to end the year strong and celebratory, while also realizing that even though spring is in the air, it's not the end of the school year. We still have a lot of work to do. So that is the lower school updates.
And super quick, just one addition for the middle school is, I think you all know we didn't have an after-school program this year, but starting not next week, but the week after, our kids will have flag football, natural hair club, chess and checkers, running club, volleyball, and then a male and female empowerment program, Empower Her and Young Kings. And somebody donated the money for this, and they wanted to remain anonymous, but it's like such a huge thing for our students at the middle school. And definitely shout out to a lot of the staff who are running these programs, but I just want us to really thank whoever's the person who made that donation, because that honestly means everything for our students and our families and even our staff. So
Where's the location?
at the middle school, I mean, some of it will be like
Outside?
exactly. For example, like the track and field at Providence College.
Oh, okay.
So some are at our school and then some are off-site. And although it's only 6 weeks, it's better than nothing. And then we're going to work really hard to make sure that no matter what, the beginning of the school year, our kids will have after-school programs. So.
Josie, thank you very much. Chris, thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to the strategic plan update. Chris or Becky, do you want to speak to that?
I'll take the first part and you take the second. All right, so as you know, our performance is identified as one of the key indicators in our strategic plan. And our teachers have been doing some collaboration around analyzing student work related to the priority standards in English language arts and mathematics, and have created and are working to implement classroom-based action plans. We expect that this will result in improved performance on the ELA essay portion and the math constructed response, which were the 2 areas of major focus. And then a lot of preparatory work has gone into our college and career readiness strategy. As you know, college and career readiness is the #1 priority in the strategic plan. Our teaching and learning department and technology department have developed a student-facing and family-facing college and career readiness sheet. I'll pass that out and I'll ask Becky to speak about it.
So we created a set of college and career readiness indicators based on research about 2 years ago as a strategic planning team. And then we worked with a data consultant to create a digital, automatically updating college and career readiness tracker that anyone can go on at any time and check any student's status on all of those criteria. The upper school took the lead on taking all of that data and creating a student-facing and parent-facing sheet that would show each student their progress toward all of those college and career readiness indicators. And after Vivi did that by hand for the entire high school, or 10th grade, I forget which, Josie and Andrea were like, yes, let's do that for the lower and middle schools as well. So Ben has been working really hard to get those documents created so that we can get those out to kids on a regular basis so they know where they stand.
This provides a useful tool for teachers and parents and students to determine where they are in relation to goals for being ready for college and career. The performance on the state assessment is an important indicator, and it is one important indicator There are other indicators that demonstrate if students are ready for college and career, including attendance, including their reading levels on our local assessments, including their math performance, their grades, GPA, and school culture indicators, such as the number of times they've been recognized for contributing positively to the community, and the number of times they've been referred to the office for interfering behaviors. So we see this as a useful tool for dialogue between teachers, advisors, students, and families, in a holistic approach to helping students prepare for the expectations after school, after high school.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So the implementation of this is the next year?
The high school has started implementing it now. And yes, the expectation is that this is implemented for the 2025-2026 school year.
So is this something that freshmen, especially freshmen, that they'll be Caribbean families be able to have the full information, understanding how to get successfully track this out through their freshman year or into senior year?
It's really important. You mentioned ninth grade. Ninth grade is a critical year. It's the year where we see a lot of course failure. So we do think that this will be a helpful tool at the beginning of school, during orientation, so that students can understand how all of these features will impact their 4 years in high school. For example, if a student fails one or more courses in ninth grade, that significantly impacts the GPA. Students don't always realize the significance of that when it comes to the 4 years of college. So during orientation, this will be a useful tool for students and families to review prior to the school year beginning.
So will there something like this prior to this document that families and students would have prior?
There was a lot of discussion about the importance of GPA at the high school level, the difference in high school courses. Beginning in ninth grade, it's the state of Rhode Island that graduates a student. There are course credit requirements. And so our upper school holds those to very high honor. And so, yeah, this helps to prepare students for the expectations.
What are the 6 Ds? It says on the chart, when students are randomly awarded credits when they are observed to be one of the 6 Ds.
So the 6 Bs grew from our 4B expectation, which is be respectful, be responsible, be reflective, be supportive, and be brave was the 6th one that was added. Be scholarly is one of the Bs as well. Basically, they represent our school-wide expectations.
And then, not taking too much time, the last part when it talks about RST referrals, major behavioral issues. Who follows up? How does there further support? Because oftentimes, somebody can say this is an issue, but how does the solution resolution support actually go and follow up?
Yeah, we have defined our rule violations. We teach our students what those violations are between major and minor rule violations. If a student commits a major rule violation, a staff member completes a referral form. Our dean of students meets with the student, processes with the student, helps the student to reflect on behavior, with the principal, determines consequences if appropriate, and works to follow up with the referring teacher so that the student is prepared to go back to class with reset expectations.
So who fills out? Who's responsible for that?
Any staff member can submit a referral. It's an electronic system, so those data are kept in a spreadsheet.
Thank you.
Chris, can you repeat, what are the 6 Bs again?
Be respectful, be responsible, be reflective, be supportive, be scholarly, and be brave.
I want to ask the board members right now if you're abiding by the same expectations that we hold our students to.
Any other questions?
If I can ask one? Sure. I've noticed that there haven't been meeting minutes filed with the Secretary of State's office since October. I'm just wondering if that is going to be happening for the minutes.
We do meet the requirements of the Open Meetings Act. Thank you for the reminder.
Which is within 35 days?
I'm not the expert on the Open Meetings Act, but
We can check and get back to you, if that's okay.
Does anybody have any questions regarding what they just presented though? I think that's primary. Or any questions about the monitoring or questions that I had to follow up questions?
Thank you for asking questions. Thank you for being involved.
thank you for showing respect.
Thank you for showing support.
You're welcome.
Okay, if there's no further questions, as a reminder, we have the Lowell School will have a play on May 15th, so the board meeting will be here at the upper school. And if I can ask for a moment of silence.
We have the same board meetings, the same day as the project?
Yeah, we're not able to move. I was hoping to move the meeting, but because that leads into Memorial Weekend, the following week leads into Memorial Weekend, it's kind of a tough draw.
What time's the play?
There are two times for the play. There's an afternoon performance, and then I think the evening performance is 6:30. The lower school requested a change of date for the play, and the date that they gave us is the same date as the board meeting. So this is the first year that that conflict has happened. We regret that, but we did want to accommodate the lower school's request.
For 1:15 and 6:30.
Can I just, no,
Sure.
no, I will. 'Cause I just can't sit here and, just to address everyone, I've been a part of Paul Coffee since 2014, 15. Not only not as a board member, but as a mentor to students in high school. I've coached the girls basketball team. I volunteer my time to work at Paul Coffee. So it's very tumultuous right now. I'm a person tend to wear my feelings and emotions on my shoulder, my sleeve. I have family that come here. I'm very tight. I'm connected with a lot of the students, with different staff. So Paul Cuffee is not only important to me. I started this on the board because of one of my mentors asked me, Dean Earl Smith. And that's why I continue to serve. And in all my capacities that I serve, I always believe that we try to do what's best. I've been in roles of nonprofit on the top of the executive management level, from working in high school, from low level schools in general. But right now, at the time that we sit, both as a board, as well as teachers, staff, faculty, is a very tough and difficult time. Why? Because we're also trying to do what's best for us, but most importantly, we're trying to do what's best for the students. And I believe that as a collective body, as human beings, if we continue what our mission is, why we took the job. You asked, one of the statements was, why are you an educator? It's not about the money. There's no money in education.
Nope.
I'm 36, I've been in education for 16 years, I'm still broke. Point blank period. But the point is that when you do something with your heart, when you do something with integrity, and the purpose of trying to strive to make other people better, that's what I live my life for. It's hard for me to sit here right now and to hear this. I understand the frustration of faculty and staff. But sometimes we don't understand what the faculty and staff is going to, and we don't understand what the board is trying to strive, or just in general, right? And there's perspectives in all realms. I sit on both sides, and I sit in the middle. Part of me wants to cry right now, because the people that are being most endangered are the people that we're supposed to be serving. As our youth. I'm not here because Paul Coffee's on my resume. I'm not here because I just want to be an authority figure and make decisions. I'm here because I care for the students. The mission of Paul Cuffee, what he stands for, not only as a black man, but of an individual, which is first, that's come from nothing, and that go through strides and struggles, the same thing that our children go through, that we don't even realize. when they're not in the school, what's happening at home? I'm one of them. I went through the private school system. It's not just because of environment, but also a lot of them, the color of their skin, the culture that they come from, the way they speak, the way they walk. If we remember our purpose, and I'm not saying don't negotiate, don't unionize, because some efforts you have to do what you feel is best for you, right? But as we're doing that collectively, the board, just remember, and the staff, what our purpose is for. And there's more I want to say, but unfortunately my nerves will not allow me to say it. But I cannot leave here today without saying something. And I can tell you, every single board member that's on the board, even the ones that came last this past fall, because I'm also the co-tag chair, so part of my role is recruiting board members and have a conversation with board members and bring board members on. They're here because they care. But just like each and every one of us, we all have a life and we all have things that we're going through. So just because a person's not here today, it doesn't mean that they don't care. It doesn't mean that they don't want to support you. But we all have something going on. I have 6 kids. I probably have more kids than anybody in this building. In these past couple months, I couldn't make it to board meetings because my personal commitment to my children. At the end of the day, my oldest is 10, my youngest is 2. And I have to make sure that they're good. And unfortunately, sometimes that means I have to skip out on things I'm accountable for. But it doesn't mean I don't care. And I can't speak for every board member, but in relations of bringing board members on, they strive for the same way. And sometimes they're putting in work that we don't see. So just moving forward, I think the biggest thing in life that I learned is whether you agree or disagree, that we move with respect. Because we're not just doing this for us for right now. We're doing this for the kids and the youth that are in kindergarten that have to still go through this school, that have to walk through the streets. At the end of the day, our decisions are going to affect kindergarten, pre-K, because we just had a lottery. We have kids that's come into the school. So I have no hate of anything. I'm all about love. And I'm hoping that collectively, as I'm hearing you say collectively, that we can get together collectively with respect. That's the biggest thing, with respect. And we can really make a decision and move this school, the school culture community forward. Thank you.
Bradford, thank you, and I think you speak on behalf of the board quite well, and I appreciate you saying those things. It is about accountability, it's about respect, and we are all here for the same thing. As you said, you have kids. I don't have children, but I'm from this neighborhood. I made a point to visit each of the 3 schools and state that this is my neighborhood. When I say this is my neighborhood, I grew up a few streets from here. I had family that came here. I had staff that worked here, teachers, etc. So it is important to me. And we all do give up a lot of time, and it takes a lot out of our personal lives and away from family and friends, etc. There are things that I personally have given up just to make sure I could attend, especially today and yesterday. And it's important because it's important to me, despite the challenges it brings back home. So I hope that going forward that we all remember that we're all here for the same mission and that we're all respectful and accountable to each other. That said, I'd ask for a moment of silence. Thank you. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.